I couldn't be more excited. In today's video, I'm going to be opening up, building, and reviewing my first ever BrickerBuilds model. This one's especially exciting because this model was actually designed by a good friend of mine. You guys will know him as Cool Guy Dom. Of course, he's a LEGO content creator, former LEGO Master contestant, and of course, a LEGO builder, and this model is absolutely amazing. Of course, the Faz Head here is inspired by the Freddy Fazbear from the Five Nights at Freddy movie and gameplay. I've seen his MOC of it at many LEGO conventions in the past, and I've also seen the early images of the model from BrickerBuilds, so I'm excited to be checking it out here today. Oh, look at that. Whoa! Alright, so inside the box here, we do have this massive bag full of all the LEGO parts needed for this set. Very nice here, as I mentioned, my first ever BrickerBuilds experience, so super excited to open it up. Dump it out right here. We've got a note here from Dom himself and a picture of the actual set, introducing the newest star attraction, the Faz Head. In collaboration with designer Tyler DeSilva, we brought this model to life. For this build, we use snot techniques to sculpt the iconic details of this character from the hat to his nose. His eyes can be switched from a friendly look to a soul-piercing stare. We even designed the exoskeleton head with the mouth inside for those extra details. I hope you enjoy this thrilling build. From Cool Guy Dom himself. Very cool. I cannot wait to build this model and review it in a little bit more detail, of course. But we've got all the different bags of parts here, including bag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, without any further ado, let's actually build this model up. Starting off with the build process, I thought it was extremely interesting that you actually went 2 bags at a time. I'm not sure why they didn't just group them together or separate them a little, but I'm not complaining. You started off in the build by actually just building the base of the model here. So it started with the display stand and then works its way up into the actual animatronics of the build, kind of like the interior or the skeleton of the Faz Head, you could say. You start off by building the first round of the teeth, move up to the head, and then you're actually building the very first set of eyes. You are building 2 sets of eyes because one of them actually go upside down into the model for easy storage, which we'll talk about why a little bit later. Of course, then you actually get into the main part of the build, which looks really good. It starts by building out the head a little bit more, giving it a lot more shape and texture, and then you actually start adding some of the brown colors as well. You'll start to see throughout this entire model how many different layers are really included, which I thought was really cool. First up, we went through and then built the back of the model here, and then when we opened up the next bags, we actually started working on building the face. Going into bags 5 and 6, we actually start building the face, which was really cool. So you actually build this off of the platform and then attach it a little bit later on. Again, a ton of different build techniques were used in this to leave a space for the carved out eyes, as well as the stuck out nose. Like, it is definitely not a 2-dimensional object, that is for sure. After building out the face, we then start building out the sides as well. All of these use very similar build techniques, and overall just make sure the entire model has that really 3-dimensional circular feel. You then attach both the face and the sides to the actual model here itself, and then in the last 2 bags we actually start building the second layer of the mouth as well as the black top hat to go with it. And then of course you also do build the little ears as well, and then at the very end you attach the mouth, the 2 ears, and of course the top hat to get to this completed model. Now let's take a look at the fully built model. So I'm a big fan of this actual model here. I love the fact that we start by building off the display stand because it actually gives this model something to stand on, and it looks really awesome. Of course, like I already mentioned, we do have the 2 layers of teeth, which we can talk about a little bit more in a minute, but when you go up the model, you can really see all the 3-dimensional aspects that I talked about in the build process. I love that when you spin this around, you can just see how good and 3-dimensional that it really looks. There are so many different layers that went into building out this model, lots and lots of bricks used. Of course, as well, we do get 2 sets of eyes, so we have the very nice, friendly eyes here, and then we actually have the very creepy and scary eyes. How this is achieved is the front and the side panels of this set are actually removed, the eyes are taken down from the top and replaced here. And of course, once you put it all back together, it looks pretty terrifying. Of course, on the actual face here as well, I really like the front, like the snout. It looks really cool. We've got the big nose, and I just love the contrast of the flesh and the reddish brown. It looks really great. The eyes here, I'm going to keep mine on the friendly eyes because they're a little bit less creepy. And then of course, we do have 2 eyebrows up here as well. We do have 2 side ears that are added on towards the very end. And then of course, the entire model is topped off with a black top hat here. Back to the double mouth here, as I already mentioned, you can pull it down, and then on the inside, you can actually see his double set of teeth right here as well. If you guys have ever played the game or seen the movie, you know why he's got 2 layers of teeth. It's really cute though, because when you actually fold up the mouth, you can't really tell there's 2 layers of teeth, and then with the friendly eyes, it doesn't look all that scary. And of course, speaking of scary, when you do go to remove the side and the front panels so you could actually change out the eyes, you can really see the animatronics on the inside, and that's where I think think it looks pretty frightening. You guys already saw from the speed build, I was pretty impressed with just how the actual model was built, as well as a lot of the build techniques that were used. Of course, the actual model itself here is very, very beautiful to look at. I have stressed about how I love the three-dimensional aspects of it. I think it's like a Star Wars helmet or like one of those Star Wars heads, but on crack. This model is so much cooler and so much better. So I'm a really, really big fan of it. I think it's very special to me. That is also, of course, because it was designed by Cool Guy Dom, who is a good friend of mine, and I got to see his actual model of this built in real life, and then I got to see it compared to the BrickerBuilds model here, which is just really cool to see a little bit of the differences, but also many of the similarities. So not only did I have a very good experience building my first ever BrickerBuilds model, which is the Faz Head here, and this will hopefully not be my last BrickerBuilds experience because I had such a good time enjoying it. I would highly recommend you guys check them out if you are interested, but also I got to build and review what is a really, really cool set. We've gone through all the features of this model. You know, it's obviously a display feature, so there aren't a lot of play features with it, but it's not just a boring looking model that you're gonna put on your shelf and forget about. It's the fact that you're able to change out the eyes. You're able to position the mouth a little bit. Like, it is a really cool model, and I really think the designers did think of a lot of things, and they really wanted to make sure that you had a good build experience, but also a very beautiful display model while you're at it. So thank you guys so much for checking out my first ever video unboxing, building, and of course reviewing a BrickerBuilds product. Like I said, this was a really great one to start with because I think it was a nice, easy build. It's gonna look amazing here in my Lego collection, and it was designed by a friend. So it's just the perfect one to absolutely start off with, but I'm really looking forward to potentially doing even more BrickerBuilds videos in the future because I had so much fun checking this one out. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys here in the next video.